Hey everyone, I'm Victor Dwyer with Pirawna, and this is the Black Friday checklist, where we're going to go through some strategies and tactics to really tackle Black Friday. It's one of the second biggest Amazon events that are there, and it's really important to have this particular checklist and to really do it smart with strategy rather than just having robots control our entire strategy, which is the way it is currently right now. So today we have Jordan. She is also from Piranha, and we're gonna go through a little bit about who she is, why you should listen to her, like her experience and her past, and then we'll dive into some strategies in there. Jordan, thank you so much for coming on today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'd love to get an intro, a little bit about yourself and some of your past experiences
Yeah,
on
definitely.
e-commerce or
On
or experiences in general. It could be experiences in general.
yeah, no, let's totally go off topic. I've been with Piranha for almost 4 years now. I'm one of our VPs here of Marketplace Strategy, so very in depth on all things Amazon and in the weeds in terms of driving strategy, getting revenue growth. I've worked with
Mhm.
a variety of brands over the years. Probably like most specialized in the like beauty and feminine care space.
Mhm.
But again, have like touched on every single category and across Piranha, it's always been super insightful to like have that experience, right, to inform any and all strategic decisions. Before that, I was a brand manager at a apparel company for a couple years before that. Did some social media management as well. So it's always been digital marketing, like
Mhm. Yeah.
since really my career started. But like I ended up in the Amazon realm, and it's been nothing but like fun, rewarding.
Mhm.
Really strategically like getting creative, has always been one of the better selling points for me. So yeah, definitely just like deep on Amazon.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for that background. Just
Yeah,
super in-depth analysis on diving right into some Black Friday stuff.
sure.
What would you say is your top 3 things that every brand should be preparing for right now on Amazon? Whether it's the advertising standpoint, inventory, there's a lot of different ways to approach this. So, what do
Totally.
you say is your top 3 that they should be preparing for right now?
Preparing, totally. I
Yeah.
think the biggest one that comes to mind is definitely advertising related. But what sets that up first, of course, is inventory positioning. So, like, I feel like
Mhm.
that's the first one to kind of mention, right? So,
Yeah.
ensuring you are locked and loaded for the ceiling of potential that you have with your product, whatever that is. And that could mean having, a higher days on hand than normal, things like that. In this last quarter, as a lot of Amazon sellers have seen, like those restock limits that some people have fallen victim to. So like a lot of that
Mhm.
legwork really should have been done already, so like
Yeah.
whatever your inventory position is, I would just say that it's like understand where you have opportunity as well. Like it's critical to avoid out of stocks on listings just as much as it
Mhm.
is in a lot of ways to like build ranking and everything. You don't want to have those kind of like demerits on record for out of stocks either.
And
So
where
it's
do you find that balance? So usually
yeah,
people see between like a 3 times or 5 times increase in sales during the Black Friday kind of week, kind of what it
sure.
is. How do you
Yeah.
find that balance of like, oh, should I go a 20% coupon on this or should I
Mhm.
go a 40% coupon on this? How do you find
Yeah.
that balance to say like to push it heavier, push it softer on
Mhm.
the promotions there?
Yeah. So on some level, it's going to come down to the product and what your goals are, right? Like, is it
Mhm.
something that is very established in its market and your priority is going to be more so maintaining competition with whatever your competitors are doing? So keeping an eye out for either what's already in the marketplace, if you've been paying attention to fall prime, prime in the summer, right? Like what sort of discounts were people getting there? You know,
Mhm.
that that's definitely something to keep in mind because what's important to remember too is like not to go too far. Again, you want to like give an
Yeah.
aggressive position, but also customers want to shop right now. Like coupons
Mhm.
aren't a matter of incentivization. They're just a matter of remaining competitive and acquiring customers against your competitors. So like if there's something that you have a high repeat purchase rate on, I would almost not totally go on the have a discount there because people are going to want to buy that do a lower one, offer a little something, just to kind of like play along. But like if you already have a super high conversion rate on something, like you don't need to take the hit on margin to it. You want to look at it as like an acquisition play, right? In a
Yeah.
lot of ways.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so sorry I cut you off on the top three things you want to
No,
focus
you're
on. The
good.
first one you said was inventory. I didn't know if you
Yeah.
wanted to finish that or move on to the second point of what
No,
are your
yeah.
top things.
I mean,
Love
I think
to
to put
I cut you off there.
No, totally. I think to put a bow on inventory real quick, again, really like wherever you're at right now is probably what you're gonna have for
Yeah,
Black Friday. So just like
most likely.
keep in mind that, it's you want to avoid out of stocks if possible. So just like, if something does have risk like that, consider how you can pivot your promotion strategy, to maintain healthy ASINs. Like it's not a good thing to have an out of stock on record for any ASIN. It can be detrimental to your rankings overall. So keep that in mind. And then you can also, again, like quantify your sales potential by understanding your your inventory position. So like that's, also something where you just kind of can say like, okay, I have, the most revenue potential over here. If I need to lean into that further, maybe do a more aggressive coupon on where you have higher inventory, even if it's not your biggest like sell through, right? So
Hmm.
again, just something to keep in mind. And then also like lock in whatever replenishment that you maybe can forecast for to an extent, like lock it in to like send a replenishment like the week after, right? Like make those shipments now, even if you're like held up by restock limits or something, right? Like prepare for the moment that you have room in your restock limit to send that out, because there's going to be a lot of people trying to replenish. Same with people trying to front load, right? Like you can be first in the door and just better your position too, especially if like January 1st and the whole new year, new you is a critical time for you too. You want to keep up with the Joneses in that way. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's kind of the
And
bow
when
on
it
it.
comes and when it comes down to like really forecasting your sales, so
Hmm.
let's say if you're a brand, you have 500 units, for
Yeah.
example, in a particular thing, and you usually, let's say you to make numbers easy, you get normally 10 sales per day, and then Black Friday you're planning on pushing hard through ads. Like I know there's a million variables in that, but
Yeah.
how heavy would that promotional strategy be if you were not wanting to go out of stock? Because
Hmm.
usually there's about a 3 or 4 week lead time from
Hmm.
from Black Friday from when you can send in more inventory. So
Yeah.
that you have to take that into account in your inventory forecast as well. So
Totally.
what would you say to the people that are not trying to go out of stock but
Yeah.
also have enough left for the 4 or 5 or for
For sure.
4 or 5 weeks after that?
Yeah.
So how would
Yeah.
you kind of forecast that out? How would you do that?
Yeah, I would say like if you can take the restock inventory report, get your understanding of your inventory position on each SKU,
Mhm.
take a look at like an average of the daily sales in, call it the last 30 days, translate your inventory position to a days on hand or a weeks on hand number, and say then like say I have 90 days right now, but I'm expecting, right, like in 2 weeks where we would go, okay, I have, 90 minus 15 days, call it to make the math easy, 75
Yeah.
days, that like
Mhm.
in a 7 day period, I may go through 14 or 21 days of inventory rather, right? So like get ahead of translating that days on hand position and then go, okay, I know that after Black Friday, I expect to have, call it more like 45 to 50 days on hand. And right
Mhm.
there, that's a month and a half. That's like your 6 weeks. So like at minimum, you should be having 90 to, 100 days on hand. And that's just like riding the lines, that's no
Mhm.
buffers or anything. So if you have room within your restock limits to add a supplementary week or two in there, like you'll be, doing yourself a favor. And then also if you can enable an FBM SKU, on ones where you maybe have a higher risk, like say your restock limit does come into play and you're like, okay, that's great, 90 days, but I can only do that for 3 of my 5 SKUs or something. You can enable FBM to secure your positioning and keep the ASIN active and sales running through it, like in whatever interim you may experience.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. And going to your second number of what would other brands should be doing now
Mhm.
to prepare? What would you say is your second tip to what brands
Yeah.
should be doing now?
Second tip is advertise and begin that now, begin that a week ago, build up your organic rankings as much as possible. So understanding where you are already, where you're landing on the first page of any search results. Ultimately, once customers do, heavily migrate to the platform for Cyber Week as a whole, like if you can't be seen, you can't be sold. So
Yeah.
knowing where your listings exist both in a sponsored and organic positioning is super helpful and is ultimately going to be the source of like where conversions come from. So
Mhm.
um, all of those efforts again like become incrementally more competitive, more expensive as the weeks go on, and Amazon's algorithms all operate like on these aggregated like micro credits over time to go like this product has a better likelihood of basically customer satisfaction, if I'm on this
Mhm.
keyword. So if you've been performing on that keyword for months, before this mass migration, then you have a better likelihood, higher positioning, likely a lower CPC as well, because you're just more preferential to your competitors who like, maybe turn it on the week of or something like that. Then like you're doing yourself a favor and just like basically proving your worth ahead of time and bettering your chances of getting those positions once uh, cyber is upon us. So,
And I get this question all the time. So I want to go into the difference between having on Black Friday having a product that is a one-time purchase and then a
hmm
product that is a repeat purchase. So one being a
right,
desk, a chair,
yeah,
and then another being a repeat buy, a Powerade bottle, for example.
yeah,
So
yeah,
in that promotional strategy, how does that change? Because, for example, on a repeat buy, you can be
hmm
more aggressive up front because the
hmm
back end it works. But
yeah,
then on your one time purchase, you have to
hmm
be a little bit. You want to try to make it a little bit more margin because a lot of people aren't going to repeat buy unless it's like a brand play, which is a little bit
sure,
different. So,
sure.
what are your kind of thoughts on that? Of having a repeat buy versus a one time buy on Black
Versus
Friday?
one time buy. Yeah. Yeah. Very different markets for sure because
Mhm.
anything that has a consumable nature, you can, like, to your point, right? Like, it's really good to run a lifetime value of your repeat customers ahead of time to say, like, okay, I may be, if I'm selling a $10 item and I want to like discount 20%, I may be fronting like $2 that I wouldn't have otherwise for this acquisition, but like I have, a 30% repeat purchase rate, and those 30% of people that like come back to buy have a lifetime value that's $50. You know what I'm saying? So like the
Mhm.
margin is still there on a much longer term scale. And that's critical for brands that have consumable products like Cyber, New Year New You, if it applies, whatever other seasonal consumer behavior, periods like are in your favor, drive acquisition and invest in those times because like that's your highest opportunity to get new customers in the funnel. Um, and so running that analysis again just ahead of time, super great to understand and gives you a look at margin on like a longer scale. Um, Anything that's a one-time purchase, yeah, that's where you get a little bit more like you got to be there and got to team up. So again, this like 2 month period before the cyber week itself is where you're like doing the legwork to better your organic rankings, better your sponsor positionings, make sure that you're there. Establish reviews are really critical because like
Mhm.
you're going to be really just competing against all your other competitors for revenue that tends to happen in the first half of the first page of all search results. So if you're not there, you're likely going to be looked over, right? So like that and then again like incentivizing the customer, you're going to have to understand how do I operate, in the marketplace already? Am I a premium position? Because now I have an
True.
opportunity where like maybe I can utilize that a little bit more and it like people who may want to buy your product but don't want to put forth the money for it might show up to a higher extent. So like you could probably get away with like a low end aggressive 20 to 25 discount, right?
Yeah.
But if you're used to being the cheapest guy out there and that's why you're killing it, like you may not have that same luxury. So like you also probably have lower margin from a dollar value, already. So you're going for more volume regardless. So like something like a $1 to $2 coupon on anything less than like $12 probably suffice.
So just curious, I want to hear your promotional strategy of there's a lot of promotions we have to choose from. We have the Prime exclusive discount, we have the coupon, we have the percentage off, we have lightning deals. I'd
Mhm.
love to hear your opinion on the differences between them and what is
Yeah.
your preference on Black Friday and
Hmm.
not off of Black Friday. So you might say,
Yeah.
"Hey, Victor, I want coupons. I choose coupons over percentage off for non Black Friday." And then
Yeah.
I want to hear your perspective off and on Black Friday, your promotional strategy.
Sure, sure. So yeah, we have what coupons slash prices, promotion codes of any kind, and then the Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals and everything.
Mhm.
So for like ultimately the deals itself are going to have the greatest badges. They're very
Yep.
prominent in search. They actually say Black Friday or Cyber Monday. There are filters for them, similar to like how Fall Prime and Summer Prime are. So if you have the right product for that, they're super great. But not everything is the right product for it. So like they're awesome for honestly like things that have a great sell through are quality products. You want to do a little margin analysis as well to say like, okay, if I
Mhm.
supplement this discount and the $300 to $500 that those deals can be, like how many units do I actually need to sell in order to make it profitable for me? Or even like drive additional volume that I would consider a benefit for me
Mm.
running this. So understanding that number, because like sometimes say you sell 20 a day, you only need to sell 25 in order to make that up. You're like easy, but like sometimes
Yeah.
it could mean like you have to sell 200 and you're kind of like, is that realistic? Regardless, it's
Yeah.
number. So like understanding that again, super beneficial. And in like my experience, like lightning deals and promotions work for bestsellers, and people get excited about those because they want to see reviews, ratings, they want to try new things. So like if you have something that already has a healthy conversion rate, like go for it. If you're trying to use it as like a tool for maybe launching or getting additional exposure, they kind of, even though I would love for that to be a great avenue for it, it's like they flop a
Mhm.
lot of the time.
No.
um yeah, so that would be Black Fridays, like, or I guess the deal segment. Otherwise, like you can get a lot of badges on your listings nowadays between a coupon like and trying to utilize the slash price. So
Mhm.
like I like the strategy of like both taking, the list price down a tad and then having a supplementary coupon because it has a slash price, usually the little red banner that's like lowest price
Mhm.
in 30 days or down 15%, something like that, will pop up in addition to having the coupon badge in search. So
So so you believe in
definitely,
promo stacking? That like that was there's usually like debate on promo stacking, like
yeah,
of like if it's worth it or not. 'Cause, like when you
right.
stack up like a lot of different things, like you're just killing
Yeah,
margin, but at the same time
yeah,
increasing conversion rate. So what I'm hearing
yeah.
is you kind of believe in promo stacking on
I
doing
believe in
multiple
that, but
things.
like do the math. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if margin's an issue, just make it the same, you know what I mean, as if you were to just run the coupon or something. I believe in it from like an definitely a consumer experience perspective. But yeah, I don't think it should mean like increase your promotion discount ultimately. It should mean just like,
Mhm.
position it differently and make it a little bit more enticing for that reason because customers are going to be looking out for that. And
Mhm.
yeah, you have
So
you can better your chances against someone else just running a coupon.
So very interesting question. Would you, when it comes down to like, if you were to promo stack, what would be
Hmm.
your main emphasis? So, for example, if I have a choice, but either by saying doing a slash through price of saying
Yeah.
20% off a slash through price,
Hmm.
or doing like and then doing like a $5 coupon, for example, or
Right.
doing like a $20 coupon
5%
and
and
then
then
doing a 5% slash price. What would you say is most important to
more
you
important.
in your experience? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it really comes down to the market here because again, if you're like say I have a $30 product and like my top search volume, target or something, like the average price is 26, like you can use the slash price to be like a little bit more like, "Oh, okay, I'm competitive amongst whatever other listings are ranked on these pages." And then you can say and then you get $5 for a coupon. So like I think
Mhm.
taking a look at the competitive positioning is super important. And it'll probably be unique to, whatever you're doing. Whereas otherwise, like say I'm already at the average or slightly below, I would put less emphasis on the slash price and more emphasis on the coupon there.
Mhm. Yeah, that's really smart. That's really smart. And I want to go into a little bit. You talked a little bit about it. You touched on it. The extra halo effect about on the one-time purchases, like basically
Mhm,
the increase in sales velocity, like with the
mhm,
longevity of the product. So basically, like if you're normally getting 20 sales and all of a sudden you get a bunch of sales, Amazon rewards you for that, and
mhm.
it increases the halo effect of the product. Essentially,
Yep.
what would you say on insight wise of the halo effect on one-time purchase products, meaning that like let's say they normally get 20 sales a day and then they
Mhm.
have a huge Black Friday promotion and now they get 30 sales a day. How do
Yeah.
you like I'd love to hear some data, is it like of what you've seen in the past
Mhm.
and how to quantify it a little bit more. So for example, like you might break even instead on Black Friday if you
Mhm.
know that halo effect is going to kick in.
Yeah.
If you see a 20% increase longevity, is like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. But how do you
Yeah.
make that case of the halo effect for those one-time purchase products?
Yeah, yeah. For a one-time purchase, so like I would say you can do it by monitoring your organic rankings because on a
Mhm.
one-time purchase, yeah, like to your point, the kicker is that you don't have a lifetime value to go off of because it is just based on like one-off orders, right?
Yeah.
So like you want to say, okay, if one of the benefits of increasing my sell-through rate is that in the short term, my organic rankings are better, you can say like, how do I maintain that over time? So like run a 10% off, for like the week following, something like that. And then get a sense of like, okay, if I'm maintaining better positioning, more exposure, higher ranking, like on these search terms, you can utilize search analytics or, other tools like Helium 10, et cetera, to say like, okay, if I put effort into maintaining these organic positionings or better positionings in sponsored placements, will I also see my sell through rate revenue capture change as a result of that? You may also see improved CPCs or like a better return on spend because like if
True.
you're again having like higher revenue capture on a search term, you're telling Amazon's algorithms over time that like you belong there basically. You're
Yeah.
successfully fulfilling orders, you have a healthy click-through rate, like those sort of things. So like Amazon begins to favor those components of your bid more so necessarily than like just the bid itself. So like if you can take a bid and like walk it down, too, like if as long as you're seeing your conversion rate increase, you can usually walk your bid down and get a healthier return as a result of it. But like you have to look at those in tandem with each other.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. That's a really good analysis on that. And then I want to go to your third point of what do you think is the third point of strategy wise that people should be preparing for all the way
Mhm.
up to Black Friday right now?
All the way up to Black Friday. Yeah.
Mhm.
One last thing, actually, before we get to
Okay.
that, I
Yeah.
wanted because I
Yeah.
wanted to say this on for promotion strategies. Like,
Mhm.
I think a very like underutilized promotion type, I guess, is the like buy one get one offers in Amazon
Yeah.
because there's been a lot of times where we're going like, okay, we have a lot of opportunity for acquisition, a lot of opportunity for sales, right? But like you have some products that are easily going to attain those things and you have other products that maybe are still launching or have an issue where like the first few reviews that came in are bad and they aren't quite outweighted yet, something that's like having a more difficult time for whatever
Mhm.
reason. It can be a great opportunity to like do a BOGO on your bestsellers and then have the free product be the listing that needs help, get some volume on it, right? And you can kind of like if I'm, if I sell like 100 units a day or something on my
Mhm.
bestseller, but like only two on this other listing, like I can basically get, a units ordered like running through the system on this listing that's like having a harder time, maybe see some improved organic rankings and everything like that to get some volume moving and like really get some like listing health benefits in the short
Mhm.
term. And on top of that, if you're like a brand specifically that is trying to get the word out for a new product or whatever, you're essentially like talking to your loyal customers who are or potentially loyal, and getting the word out there. It's a little bit of like a sample marketing in a sense, so
So, are you saying that you can actually give a like, let's say I'm buying like a blue Powerade bottle, and I
yep.
can I can do a buy one get one free and get a free red one
Yep.
on top of
Yep.
that?
Yeah, you
Really?
can do that with any product, and it also doesn't have to be free, mind you. It can be get 20% off, whatever really like fits in for you. But you can do, yeah, a buy one get one free for for any other products within your catalog.
Wow, that's really cool. That would be a really good way to sample and like try
Definitely.
out new products, especially on repeat buys. That would be like a huge opportunity right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, exactly. Drive trial, drive acquisition, whatever it is, like definitely get that going. And then yeah, the other thing too has been like and kind of like curtailing it back to the whole customers want to shop thing. Great
Mhm.
opportunity to like advertise your bundles as well, which like so
Yeah.
happy that those listings as well, are eligible for advertising. But it's a great time to upsell like higher AOVs where there's still a perception of discount, which there usually is. It's not like deception, mind you, but like there's just a good moment to drive up that average order value and move more units, which is always great for the brand. Gets more restock limits. You can get that replen, that much sooner and everything, and just really, really spur some acquisition for sure.
Cool. Yeah, that's a really good insight. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
And going to three, assuming that you don't have anything else to add to that,
No, you're
what? Yeah,
good.
yeah. What was your top three?
Yes.
Your third one for your Black Friday checklist of things to
Yeah.
prepare for before Black Friday. What would you say is your third strategy?
Yeah. My third would just be like listing security kind of.
Mhm.
So like making sure that you don't have any embedded keywords that could, trigger some sort of flag when volume gets really high. That it also this kind of like pivots a little bit into like listing optimization too. Make sure your highest volume keywords are in there, but like do that now so that you have data that's been attributed to those, ahead of time in your SEO and everything. You can do some things on the back end, like set order limits, which may seem counterintuitive, because you like want to
Mhm.
drive sales, but like it's also a time where like
Black
you
Hat.
yeah, there are plenty of black hat efforts to come out. A customer
Mhm.
or not a customer, but like a competitor could do something like order 200 units from you on an ASIN that you only have like 400 in stock or something, and order it and cancel it, and then they're stuck in limbo for 2 days.
Mhm.
So like set a quantity. If a customer wants to buy 20 of them, they can make two purchases at 10. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
like I wouldn't worry about that too much. Like you're gonna be more SOL if your ASIN's offline for 2 days,
Yeah.
um, and losing that sale. So it's like secure your positioning in that way. Make sure that there's price parity across whatever other deals are running on other channels, because like the
Yep.
last thing you want to do is have to eat margin you didn't expect or favor one channel over the other. Like that's definitely an important environment to understand ahead of time to just like ensure that all the promotions that you actually have planned for, locked and loaded and everything are functionally going to happen. That price scraping on other websites is a huge thing that comes into play for brain health issues, etc. So
Do you have any ways that you can like? Do you have any tips on how to conquer that when it comes to promotions, like when it comes to brand health, on how to
mhm.
deal with map pricing and
Yeah.
like constantly changing and things like that? Do you have any tips there?
Yeah. two tips I'd say, one, if you can, I mean, this kind of goes back to something that would be like, again, groundwork for things like that, but like, a lot of times, like if you list something without a UPC, they don't actually have the capacity to price scrape it on other websites because they map everything through UPC. So like
Yeah.
there's a trade-off there because you therein can't utilize manufacturer barcodes for inventory reasons. So if that's an issue, like, you're kind of doing a pro con situation there, but like, if you can't, you are going to save yourself from like actually getting retail matches on other websites.
Mhm.
Secondly, would take a look at like how you have your unit and unit count attributes in your listings. Because Amazon does have the capacity to like price match by, like, say I have a 10 pack of something and I have it structured so it's like 10 count or whatever in the back end. Amazon has the capacity to break down your price by a function of 10 and then multiply it, or like find that price per unit and price match a price per unit on other
Wow.
websites as well. So kind of shady, but like it helps to have everything at like a one count so that you're only ever doing apples to apples. And like, say you do have another SKU on Target that like is a different pack size, but like the price per count is lower, you're going to get a price, potential. You're opening yourself up to the risk of price matching that if it's like, anyway, a similar product. So it is a great thing, a great attribute to tweak to just like keep keep all your prices very compartmentalized, right? Like secure from each other, avoid retail matching, and keep your, ASINs ultimately live at the prices that you'd like them to for the
Mhm.
duration of the cyber period.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Is there anything else before we wrap up that you wanted to make sure that you communicate that is something somehow valuable? Any other strategies or tips before Black Friday? You either see like, hey, a lot of people are doing this, they should be doing this. Do you have any? Oh, do you have any other tips before we wrap up?
Um, no, I mean, I think we covered the majority of it. I just say like put in the work now, get your, do these analyses now, really like, again, understand where your listings are out there, how much inventory you have, where you're going to drive margin, and then looking at, again, your like lifetime value on customers to also understand like for anything that is consumable, understand your where acquisition efforts need to be needed, and be real about your products too, like if you're a grocery category, honestly, not the time for you, and like
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like, don't don't put any efforts out there that like aren't going to be fruitful for you. And you'll do great, So I think it's going to be a great year for everybody, and can't wait to see how it all goes.
Cool. Awesome. This is the Black Friday checklist. Thank you everyone for watching. And thank you so much, Jordan, for coming on.
Thanks.